From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this Tuesday, December 3rd. I'm Casey Conlon. It's a scene you have to see to believe. A car flying through a fence and careening into multiple other cars and businesses in South Billings. Here's the surveillance video from Eagle Tattoo showing the moment a driver makes impact. It's as if something was straight out of an action movie. MTN's Alina Howder has more on how the crash happened, the damage it caused, and who, including a 15-month-old baby, was in the car.
Two Billings businesses are picking up pieces after a vehicle careened off of I-90, hitting four cars parked here at Viwi's, a Volkswagen restoration shop. One of those cars then crashed into the storefront of Eagle Tattoo in a scene they never could have imagined. Things can change in an instant. That's something this wild video proved to Jolene and Andy Glover Sunday night.
Heartbreak. Heartbreak.
When this car blasted off an Interstate 90 on-ramp, damaging multiple vehicles at the couple's livelihood, a Volkswagen restoration shop called Viwi's.
Looks like four of ours customers and a friend of ours that had their car parked down here.
According to the Montana Highway Patrol, a woman was entering I-90 eastbound from 27th Street around 6:45 p.m. Sunday night when she careened through a fence right off the road at around 70 miles per hour. All three passengers, including a 15-month-old baby, were taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
The car getting wrapped up in the chain link like it did save them.
MHP said it was still waiting for a toxicology report to see if drugs or alcohol were involved. The couple's thankful no one died. But it's tough news to break to their customers.
Devastated but understanding. This will be a setback with, well, unreplaceable vehicles.
A domino effect for Viwi's and Eagle Tattoo right next door.
When you get here, there's just carnage everywhere.
That carnage included bits and pieces from Eagle Tattoo's window.
It's ugly. It's for everyone else. I mean, like I said, luckily I'm not as affected as everyone else, but it is still awful.
Both entities are open and operating during their normal business hours as they move forward from the chaos.
Dealing with customers now and moving forward with what else we have in front of us. And just persevering, I guess.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
After months of community feedback and debate, the Missoula City Council has officially decided the city's urban camping laws. MTN's Catherine Rowley attended last night's meeting, tells us how the decision could potentially impact Missoula's unhoused residents.
The City of Missoula City Council is expected to vote on new amendments to the urban camping ordinance tonight, including prohibiting overnight camping on public right-of-ways or public property. The amendments could mean changes to vehicle camping, such as when and where vehicle camping is allowed. Other amendment would have the mayor develop a program to support urban camping while also determining specific locations for camping and overnight parking. City Council member Daniel Carlino alone has 9 proposed other amendments to the ordinance. The ordinance caused controversy among neighbors when they learned that the urban camping would be allowed in their neighborhood parks. The ordinance was supposed to be reviewed in January, but council member Sandra Vasica proposed prohibiting camping in city parks earlier this year, which prompted the review to happen earlier than expected. Her proposal followed the grants past decision, which was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. I will be at tonight's meeting inside until it ends and will be providing updates. In Missoula, Catherine Rowley, MTN News.
Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Taking a look at our satellite and radar composite around Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Fairly dry weather for us, but big differences in the temperatures depending on where you are around the Treasure State right now. We have this northwesterly flow pushing right across from northwest to southeast. Some clouds in some places. It was awfully cold this morning, but you can see a distinctive swath of overnight lows from Cut Bank southeastward all the way toward Cody, Wyoming that are about as warm as our daytime highs are supposed to be, mainly 30s and 40s. So the temperatures certainly warmer than average in central Montana, but colder west of the divide and also colder closer to North Dakota. We have a lot of changes coming. I'll have your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
The search continues for a missing hiker in a popular recreation area near Bozeman. 63-year-old David Butson was last seen in person on November 10th. His vehicle was located last Tuesday at the New World Gulch Bear Canyon area. It's reportedly common for Butson to have little contact with family or friends for extended periods. He's been known to hike without notifying family or friends and enjoys adventuring off trail. According to Jason Ravisky with the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue, operations for Butson continue with dog teams, ground crews, and helicopters. So far, they haven't found any signs of the missing hiker. The small town of Vaughn, Montana, feeling pretty lucky this week. The Montana Lottery announcing yesterday the winning ticket for the Montana Millionaire $250,000 drawing was sold at the Office Bar and Motel in Vaughn, just northwest of Great Falls. The Office is a small bar which usually sees about 10 to 20 people a day. But on the day tickets were sold, they had 24 customers in line trying their luck. It's the first drawing, previously known as the early bird, for the annual popular lottery game. 500,000 tickets were sold on November 1st, with the $4 million prizes still to be drawn on December 26th. And yes, the $250,000 winner is still eligible to win one of those. A true sign that Christmas is near, the lighting of the Capitol Christmas tree in Helena yesterday afternoon. The tree was harvested on state trust lands near Bozeman. It's 40 feet tall, weighs 1,100 pounds. The Carroll College Choir performed multiple holiday songs during the ceremony, and the governor and first lady invite all Montanans to visit the Capitol to see the tree throughout the month of December. That's today's Leading Look. Since 1922, the remains of 66 people who died in Gallatin County have sat unclaimed at local funeral homes. Now, as MTN's Megan Elaine explains, the community is helping these individuals finally rest in peace.
Here, at this plot of land at Sunset Hill Cemetery in Bozeman, the remains of 66 individuals will finally be put to rest.
Each one of these urns was someone's life, and they have a story.
Chris Ramley has been the funeral director at Dock and Nelson for more than 30 years. In that time, he's seen dozens of people who have passed away and been unclaimed.
And to neglect them and not honor them just because perhaps there's not a family member here, we are going to do our best to honor them.
If a person dies and is unclaimed, several attempts are made to locate family members. If none are found, the remains are then cremated. Between 1922 to 2020, 66 people have died in Gallatin County and remain unclaimed.
Inevitably, the urns have been here for that period of time, and each situation was a little bit different as to why they were left here. Some was just a misunderstanding. Others, there just wasn't any family to pick them up and take them to a permanent location.
Funeral director Bailey Krause says her job is to care for all.
There's just circumstances where no family comes forward, and we still need to do right by that individual to make sure that they're cared for.
Dock and Nelson published a list with the names of these unclaimed remains. With the help of social media, many families came forward to claim their loved ones.
We had an individual come forward and said, my grandpa's on that list, and had told us his whole backstory. And when I asked, how old are you? He was 90 years old, and he had just found out that his grandpa was in our care. So to really have that kind of come full circle in the time frame that it did was really cool.
Gone, but not forgotten.
But their grandson that's 90 years old is now taking their grandfather home. That's perfect. To us, that's a success story, whether they stay in our care and go to the cemetery or not.
After the list was published, Gallatin County Sheriff Dan Springer began hearing stories of some of the individuals, like Ann Riddle, who died in 1978.
She was kind of a big community member. But then, became mentally ill in the later stages of her life. Probably died fairly lonely.
Now, the community has come together to hold a funeral service on December 10th for those left unclaimed. The city of Bozeman donated a plot of land in Sunset Hills Cemetery.
That's one nice thing about being in a small community like this is that many of us are tied to, someone from this community. And there's lots of, even if they don't have direct family members, people who knew them.
At the end of the day,
we recognize that maybe you were forgotten at the end, but your life did matter.
For the full list of those who passed, visit our website. In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.